Welcome to Take the Trip with Us, where you get to hear from travel professionals who've experienced destinations firsthand. And today I have Sara Turner. She is in Mexico. And Sara has actually been in the travel industry for over 20 years. She's worked for Disney. She's got two kids and a husband that travel with her most of the time. So you guys have gotten to go to lots of cool and exciting places. But right now, we get to hear from you in Mexico. So that's really exciting. Now, tell me about where you're at. What hotel are you at?
Okay, so I flew into the Cancun airport. So where I am is a little bit outside of Cancun, like maybe a half an hour or so. Um, I am at Karisma properties this time. So those brands include the stretch of the three resorts that I'm staying at during this visit, which is El Dorado Royale, which is an adults only
Okay.
resort, then El Dorado Casitas, which are adorable, smaller bungalows, picturesque as can be. Google El Dorado Casitas; they're amazing.
Okay.
And then Generations Resort is here as well, which is for all ages. So it's along this incredibly long stretch of some of the most gorgeous beach in Mexico, and this is my first time here, and I am loving it,
Oh,
loving it.
oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So right now we're in the middle of the pandemic and COVID-19.
Hmm.
Exciting. So
I
getting
know
into
it.
Mexico, what did
Uh-huh.
you have to do to get in? What kind of preparations did you have to do?
Right.
Because I'm hearing of lots of different things.
Yeah. So it's very important to note that travel restrictions and travel requirements can change and are changing often. But the latest with Mexico, and since I've been here, is that what Mexico requires is um, a passport, of course,
Yep.
and they require like a travel authorization form of sorts. So that can be done in advance of your visit, and that's it. As of right now, they're not requiring COVID-19 testing, but that can change. But it
Okay.
is important that you indicate while you're filling out that travel authorization form, you have to swear that you have not been around anyone who has had COVID-19 within the past 14 days. And you have to swear that you're not experiencing any symptoms too. Um,
Okay.
those are the two big things that are required right now.
And you're
Mhm.
filling out a form and carrying it with you, or you're doing this online on a website?
I've seen it in both places.
Okay.
Um, And but again, that changes by the day, and that's a really important feature that your travel agent can provide to you is that firsthand knowledge and updates when it comes to requirements for traveling.
Absolutely. So then flying there and, going international, how did you feel as far as, your comfort level, safety amidst this whole pandemic?
Yeah, that's a great question, and a lot of people are wondering that same thing. Where can I go right now, and what places are
Yep.
safe for me to travel to? And as American citizens, sometimes going from state to state has presented some challenges through COVID-19. One thing I think is important to remember with Mexico and with the Caribbean is that they rely very heavily on your tourist dollars. So the money that you bring when you travel to these destinations is what feeds their economy. And so they're doing everything in their power to get travelers back to their country and to keep them safe while they're here. So, in order to get to Cancun, for me, it was a very quick flight right from Tampa. It was about 2 hours, and then I was here. It's important to note, though, that during the process of flying, things are going to look a little bit different, and I think we're all ready for that. We go to the
Yeah.
grocery store these days, and it looks different. We sit in car line with our kids with masks on. It's looking different. Our kids wear masks to school all day long. It's very different. In an airplane, though, right now, and from the moment that you arrive at the airport, you'll notice that the lines are much longer for customs, but also just to check into the airport. Because what has to happen is for every traveler getting on those flights, the check in staff from the airlines have to make sure that you have the most current required things to get into that specific country. So it's important. Here's a tip to allow a little extra time at the airport.
Right.
But you will notice that everyone is wearing masks. Everyone is
Okay.
wearing masks in the airport, especially in Florida. Everyone's wearing masks in general, where I
And
travel from.
and I always
Mhm.
think when you say the lines are longer, the first thing I think of is they're all spread out because we've got to be 6 feet apart and have
It is
that
true.
distancing. Yes. So I
It's
think
true. And
everything looks longer. Yeah. So what
It is true.
about,
Um,
yeah, so what
I was going
about
to say,
there at the resort? What kind of safety, cleanliness protocols are in place that you're feeling at, well, which, because I know you've got 3 resorts that you're at. So
yeah,
how are you feeling there?
I am feeling like I'm in a bubble of safety. Similar to when I travel to Walt Disney World, which is another of my favorite destinations, where you stay at those on-site resorts and you use their transportation. You feel like you're in that bubble, that vacation bubble. So here in Mexico, at specifically these 3 resorts, because you stay at one, you enjoy all 3. It's
Okay.
a great place, but you feel like you're in that bubble of safety and cleanliness. So resort brands, like I was saying, they rely on your tourism dollars to feed their economy, and so as a result, they have really amped up the efforts on site at the resorts. They want to keep you safe and coming back. So you'll notice at the resorts that everyone's wearing masks the entire time. If you're in the pool or if you're at the beach and distance, then I don't find folks wearing masks because your distance. Um, but the moment you step inside of a restaurant, the moment that you walk to and from your room, you're wearing a mask. But additionally, the sanitization stations are everywhere. They're just everywhere. There's lots of material, printed material in your room reminding you of the importance of sanitizing and wearing your masks. And then the staff, when they notice that you're not wearing a mask, they'll gently remind you the importance of wearing it. Last thing they want is for some negative publicity because one of their
Right.
guests was sick. Yeah, that's the last thing that they want. So they're doing everything in their power to keep everyone safe. So I feel honestly like I'm in the headspace of thinking about my safety and thinking about sanitizing when I'm here in Mexico. And so for that reason, I would venture to say that I feel safer than even if I'm at home, if that makes sense.
Right, right. So like if kids are there and they're, on the beach and they're playing and you're,
Mhm.
safely distanced away from people, then they can do that and play in the sand and
Oh,
feel like not have to wear a mask and okay.
absolutely. And in addition, when you're staying at resorts like this, where service is a staple of this brand, being one of those 4 and 5 star resort brands, um,
Sure.
they they do everything that they can to help ensure our safety. And I forget I lost my train of thought. What was your question
That's
again?
okay. That's okay. Well, the internet's a little bit crazy there in Mexico. I know because here we are in the States and getting it, but I can hear you fine right now and it looks beautiful. But I was just
Okay,
wondering
great.
about, how you felt there. So it sounds like you feel safe. You are in this cleanliness bubble. That's great to hear. And I think for a lot of people that want to travel and want to get out, the
Hmm.
2 main points are there are things open and places they can go and be safe and feel comfortable. And also using a travel professional like yourself, you can help with those hints and tips. You've been there, you've experienced
Hmm.
it firsthand. You can help with all of that. And that's so
Yes.
important for people to realize, especially right now.
Yeah, and I think what I was trying to get across there was just that when you're staying at these caliber of resorts, these higher end properties, then of course you do spend a little more to be here, but for that reason, you're finding that the atmosphere is very exclusive feeling. So I think it's important, especially during these COVID times where distance is important, that you're relying on your travel agent to point you in the direction of properties where you have the ability to distance very much so. I'm sitting here on the beach right now by myself.
That's awesome. Very, very
By
cool.
myself because yeah, yeah, it's a great place to be to really just relax and unwind and unplug and get some time alone.
That's awesome. Well, thank you
Mhm.
so much for talking to us today, Sarah. I really appreciate it. You've taken time out of your vacation,
Yeah.
and I know you've been traveling all around everywhere. So, Sarah, you're the girl to call. I tell you, it's so inspiring and awesome to hear, everything that you have been experienced. So, thank you to
Yeah.
everyone for listening today. Please tune back in with us as we continue to bring you folks in these destinations, bring you information, places that you and your family may want to visit. So, take the trip with us, hear those stories about these destinations that we're exploring, learn things from us that we have found useful, and keep dreaming about your next adventure. Until next time, keep dreaming.
Bye from Mexico.